Hello, hello. I know I'm a little bit late. I was a little rushed for time. So here we are. Setting up I will eventually set up a tower cab once everything's set up. Apparently I do have a Microsoft Flight Sim set up. So let me first hide it. Oh, what we're playing? We're doing Flight Sim today. We're doing VATSIM, so we're currently controlling Detroit Metro Tower. And we'll put up the flow here. Guess it's south. That there. So right now I'm just currently waiting for virtual planes to talk to me. They're piloted by, I guess, real people. I don't know how to kind of describe it. Trying to get all this stuff downloaded and set up. Did I put north? Yeah, we put south. We're good. South flow. Two left. You're also gonna have 2-1. Advertising here. Arriving. 2-2 right Zulu. And 2-1 left. I'm also gonna turn this up too. Any BMG? Probably not today. I'm doing this for the next. Yeah, let's see how long. Probably 3 hours. So, see. We got another flight plan from Pro to how 2-1 right. Oh, also put on the this one. It will be pretty helpful, I think. as well as, honestly, it's probably just more a reference for me. We're gonna make this a little bit bigger, I think. As well as, we'll put another image up. Image, browse. Is that helpful? No. No. There we go. And we're gonna do find the tower in we are controlling today southwest. Where tower because alright. Got one more little quick thing here we'll do and then we'll it's horrible. It's horrible. So tell them to unfix it. That's wild. Alright. There's a event Bradley event today. There we go. Alright, I think I have everything set up correctly finally. I need to load up Twitch as well, though. I don't think I've done that yet. No. And I need to put in a profile setting. Which today we're gonna push the YouTube since we have a plane here soon. What in the name of handoffs is this? Yeah, I do now. Yep. Why do I need them? I can quick click the Tracon. I don't think you actually can reject handoffs anymore than CRC stars, which is very sad.
Metro Tower, Delta 1432, 10 mile final, ILS 21 left.
Delta 1432, Metro Tower, runway 21 left, clear to land.
21 left, clear to land, Delta 1432.
See if this is working properly before I All right.
Tower Delta 1432, we're off of runway 21 left. We're going to the north side of Alpha Gates.
Delta 1432. So I want to make sure you got it right. Are you going to the south port or the north port?
We're going to the south terminal north side, like near Alpha 75 or something like that.
Yeah, Delta 1432, taxi to parking via Whiskey Juliet. Juliet.
Alright, Whiskey Juliet, Delta 1432.
All right. Yep. All right. All right. Um. Make sure this works as well. I haven't paid any attention to the. Well, the movements works as well because we just had one. And all right, that's good to go. Ding ding. All right, new flight plan Delta 2 down to Atlanta. All right, we will expect they're going to expect they're on the Calvin. All right. Okay. All right.
Detroit Tower, Spirit Wings 1347, a beam gate Delta 10 with information Quebec, ready for taxi.
Wings 1347 Metro Tower, runway 21 right, taxi via Kilo Victor Mike.
Runway 21 right via Kilo Victor Mike, Spirit Wings 1347.
All right. Oh yeah, Next arrival to Metro is gonna be a minute, about about an hour. So it looks like. So. Anyways. The garbage. ALG. Cable, SB. Well, it's a good route as well. He will expect, since it's the cable. You want right? Ding ding. Alright. Spirit Wings 1347, runway 21, right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 21 right, clear for takeoff, United, sorry, Spirit Wings 1347.
I have too many of those virtual airlines, man.
You know, usually I'm calling American instead of United, and I don't even know today.
I had someone I was on a few hours ago. I think he called himself 4 or 5 different airlines before he finally figured out that he was still using the wrong one.
Those points are addicting, man.
Alright, we got Spirit Wings on the roll. Spirit Wings 1347, contact Cleveland Center, 119.87.
Cleveland Center, 119.87. Spirit Wings 1347, thanks, yeah.
Thanks for flying. Why do you clear literally everything to land? What's actually the meaning of that clearance? Are you talking about like when I tell a plane, let's see here, it's, if you look at the upper right hand screen, if I have a plane over here on the final for only 2-1 left, because if that's the case, then you tell them to land, you clear them to land because essentially tells them, it gives them the, generally it lets them know, hey, the runway's clear, you know, from anyone sitting on the runway or taking off or whatever. They are essentially given the go ahead to land, and then hopefully there's no one crossing the runway or whatever, and that's when huge tragedies arise. So anyways, because sometimes you clear them for the option or clear them for touch and go, which is a little different, where the option pretty much allows them to land full stop, allows them to basically touch the ground and then immediately take back off again. They can stop for up to 2 minutes. It's called the stop and go. Yeah, they can do a low approach and then and then climb back out and rejoin the pattern, whatever they're gonna do. So there's that. So it's not always clear land. There's some other things in there too, and then obviously clear for takeoff is not all the points as well. All right. Yeah, right. So we clear multiple aircraft once they land. If the FAA, so never sustained it is. There's actually that. So it is true. You obviously anticipate the separation being all right. The trying to think of a way to describe this here. So the FAA, the way they do it is, if you clear some of the land at most fields without safety logic, you cannot clear some of the line up and wait. So let's say United 1, you know, who might be up here somewhere, right? You know, whatever it is, runway 22 left, clear to land. And if this, obviously Metro is kind of a bad example because we have the safety logic here where it will tell us, hey, runway 22 left occupied, and it'll tell me to tell a plane to go around. But regardless, if not, if I didn't have it or it wasn't working, in real life, obviously we don't have the outages in the network. Real life, you can just, it will, I can't clear someone the line up and wait. Clear someone to take off, but they can't occupy the runway longer than essentially the time it takes to be on the takeoff roll. it's all about anticipating separation. You have 3-4 miles, and almost all the time it doesn't take 3-4 miles to clear the runway. If not, go around, retry it again. I also don't know. I think though, I mean, if you come from just like a European standpoint, I know they'd use, or at least I don't know, realize on the network they use like behind or after the landing traffic, line up and wait, which we can't do. Um, which kind of makes sense to me actually, because who knows? It's kind of weird, that one. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I don't really like that one a whole lot. But, oh, okay. Yeah. Never understand why they cleared everything to land. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I said, the behind. I don't even know what it is anymore. I've heard it before, and I was like, this is really weird. The behind or after the arriving traffic, line up and wait, or whatever. Yeah, behind the line. Yeah, line up. Yeah, behind. That's what it is. Line up. Runway behind. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of similar though. Like, I don't know. You're letting someone onto the runway without. I know you tell them obviously behind, but I don't know. Definitely it's just different rules, different procedures. Obviously, both systems kind of matured, and the regulations and stuff separately. And it, you know, just how it is. Some things are similar. I mean, I know they wanted to go to here. They got rid of um oh, what was it? They changed something. I know they changed giveaway, now it's behind. I think might be a little more similar over there. Closest thing we have is land multiplier, land after. Got it. Hmm. Yeah, and here it really doesn't matter. You can have IMC, you mean IMC and fog and stuff, and Alaska 1, whatever it is, X miles from whatever, or what, that's not even that. Alaska 1, running ray, whatever it is, clear to land number 25. I know that's what the meme I see on Reddit all the time is. I think it's always pretty funny. Where they don't have one line. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that makes sense. for sure. So I guess the next question I have, like, if you're crossing a run, if you have to cross a runway, right? I know you obviously have to do that at times. You can't clear an air. I assume then, using that logic, you can't clear an aircraft to cross while one's crossing downfield. So, here we have, do we just say traffic crossing downfield, whatever, clear to land. Behind the arrival, yeah, do this behind, yeah. Yeah, and like I said, that's just one of those differences. Like, we don't have those conditional clearances. We just seemingly, from what I've been told, do whatever. I know I've had this, I've heard this quite a bit one time or another. It's like, yeah, it is different, and I do want on VATSIM to do fly in the UK again, or Europe again. I did cross the pond a few years ago, and that was a, yeah, okay, you can't clear it. That makes sense. Additional. Hmm. Aircraft, yeah. Yeah, like, we could totally also say, continue. Like, it's not, we don't have to clear them land. But, yeah, it's just those differences. I mean, like I said, the system, just the rules and regulations, they've kind of all evolved, differently over the years. I mean, there are different issues, different tragedies. Yeah. Has obviously changed, rules over time and different scenarios for different systems. I mean, it's kind of it is interesting to see the big differences for sure. Why do I use conditional clearances anywhere to really encourage, especially with ground? So ground, we can say behind the company, whatever it is, 8320 passing from your left or right. You know, so let's say we got
Detroit Tower, Delta 2 Heavy, requesting taxiway Quebec.
Delta 2, I gave him 1 right. Delta 2 Heavy, Metro Tower, runway 21 right. Taxi via Uniform, Golf, Victor, Mike, cross runway 27 right at Golf.
Runway taxi, runway 21 right, 21 right, taxi via Romeo, Uniform, Golf, Victor, Mike, and then cross 27 right at Echo, Delta 2 Heavy.
So yeah, let's say this Delta dude was going, you know, ready to go at the same time. Obviously he's not. But I could say Delta 2603 behind the company A350, passing from your left or right. Runway, or I guess it would be runway 21 right, follow company, whatever it is, passing from left to right, then cross the runway. Whatever is cross runway 27 right, Golf. And that would be, I guess that's kind of more of a conditional clearance. So we can do behind, and or we can do follow. So I also say whatever it is, let's say he wanted to go to 22 left. I could also say Delta 2603 behind the company A350, passing from your left to right, runway 22 left, taxi bio. And then I could say that's pretty much the only conditional clearances we have is that. Can't really think of many more other than follow and behind. But I'm sure there's obviously more. It's just I can't think of any right now. Yeah, so pushbacks here, it depends. 95% of the time, I'm going to say, if you don't push onto a taxiway, that's a movement area, you don't have to call for push. Sometimes the ramps are controlled by like an airline or the airport itself. Seattle, I believe it is. I'm almost certain Seattle, the airport controls the ramp. So then you'd call the ramp controller, you know, whatever it is, Delta 2 heavy ready for push. Yeah, after the EG Jet A320 passes left to right, taxi. Yeah, we do that we can do that quite a bit. There's also obviously not a whole lot of. It's kind of a, you know, does it work, does it not type deal, or would it make sense? So yeah, we do have we normally would do that quite a bit, but it's, like I said, instead of after, it would just be behind for us. Pushbacks, but yeah, going back to the pushbacks conversation, we have some airports where the ramp's controlled by the airport, and then some airports, and then they have to call for push. It's mostly more so that the really busy airports that it's more so departure times. They don't want someone who's departed who has a slot time in 45 minutes to push. Yeah. Sometimes it's ground. Sometimes there's not a ramp controller, and sometimes that's ground. But big airports, we have ground. Or we have ramp. And then sometimes the airlines, for their own ramps, they do their own push stuff. So like O'Hare, there's a company, but American has their own ramp controller. You have Phoenix, Southwest, I know, has their own ramp controller. So stuff like that. I think it's just to keep the alleyways clear from just getting clogged. Because they own the ramp. essentially. The ground controllers don't own the ramp. At O'Hare and Phoenix. I'm not quite sure how it works at Seattle with the airport having their own ramp frequency, but I'm pretty sure it just means that ramp owns it. Same with Kennedy too, I believe, or LaGuardia, one of the two. They the airport controls the ramp. Delta 2 Heavy, runway 21, correction. Delta 2 Heavy, RNAV 2 Sergi, runway 21 right, clear for takeoff.
RNAV, Sergi, clear for takeoff, 21 right, Delta 2 Heavy.
RNAV 2 Sergi. Yeah. So, no. The answer to that's going to be no. So, in theory, it's kind of yes and no. Okay, it's not just a straight no. So, in theory, yes. But you have to visit every subdivision. So, like, Cleveland's one. Basically, where the centers are, that's a subdivision, right? So, the borders of Cleveland Center, that's the Cleveland Artsy. Chicago, the borders of Chicago Center, that's the Chicago Artsy, right? So anywhere within there, generally, you can control up to your rating. However, you have to visit each one. You can only visit one every 60 days. You have to maintain your eligibility in each one. That's going to be 3 hours every month, every quarter at each facility you visit. And some airports are listed as tier 2. So you have places with either weird terrain or different procedures. Or they're just busy, or they're kind of busy, like Chicago Midway. Detroit Metro is 1, is a tier 2. Generally, those are going to be your really busy Class Charlie airports and your less busy Class Bravos. Delta 2 heavy, contact Cleveland Center, 119.87.
Over Cleveland Center, Delta 2 heavy, thanks, goodbye.
Anyways, and then you have your tier 1s. So those, in theory, should just be a written exam to do. Some places, some artsies don't just do the written. You have to actually like do a training to like make sure you're able to control the the airspace, or you're able to, or hey, there's a mountain here. So like Albuquerque is a tier 2. And then you have some airports that are tier 1s with GCAP, and those are your busier. Pretty much all of them are Bravos, and that's your really busy. That's your LaGuardia, Kennedy, O'Hare, Phoenix, and that's a training. You have to have basically an examination. Make sure you don't crash planes into other people. And then centers are also technically tier 2s, but those will all have at least some sort of training involved to make sure you're able to, what the letters of agreement are with the other facilities. So I can only control center at Albuquerque. They don't have my Cleveland Center rating yet, right? But in theory, I can get it as long as I do the training. But then also for visiting, you have to be at S3 and above now. Or if you're an S2, you can visit one facility, I believe, if you've been S2 for over a year. But anyways, it's kind of a big mess with visiting. So probably no is probably more the answer you're looking for. But you could if you really wanted to, I guess. I know someone who's certed at I think 8 to 10 now. I don't even know what he has now. Different facilities all the way up the center. So you can do it. It's just a lot of work. And a lot of time commitments every quarter. Yeah, they've changed it a little bit. It's probably better. I would say it's more uniform now than what it used to be. I mean, let's be honest. You have at least 20 airports, unless you're at like HCF that has like 8 or 9. You have at least 20 airports you can control from if you get started all the way up. Plus Oakland Oceanics also tier 2. I guess I should say that a lot of the Oceanics are tier 2, which isn't that bad at the end of the day because it makes sense. Oceanics a little weirder, a little bit more going on, a little bit less going on, but I guess different things going on, I should say. So yeah, I mean, it's not horrible. It's just I'm not a big fan of the way it's kind of gone, but I think a lot of people would say they are. So it is what it is. I mean, not a whole lot you can do about it. It works. You have enough airports. It's not like you're missing out on anything, and you can visit obviously once you get up to your S3. Because the sentiment in the facility or in the division was that essentially having S2 and S1 visitors doesn't make sense. Essentially, that's what they were saying. And that time is better spent on training at your home facility and then working your way up from after you get your S3 rather than training elsewhere and never moving up. I guess never really having an incentive to move up for some people. I don't know. I was never really want to think that way, but that's the way that's kind of what I've gathered at least. Anyways, this is the top of the hour, so we're gonna look here for our next arrival, which is going to arrive in an hour and 26 minutes. From what it looks like. Do a PDC going to Orlando. Well, yeah, overall, man, I don't really care a whole lot about the transfer thing because I have more than enough places. I guess I now visit Albuquerque, Salt Lake, Chicago, and Oakland. And with those four, I mean, I have more than enough airports to control. I'm already doing event support for pretty much anything. So, anyways.
Metro Tower, good evening. Delta 2989 with Romeo ready for push and start.
The 2989 Metro Tower, push your discretion.
I'm calling back for taxi 2989.
Buffalo 778, thanks for the follow there on Twitch. You know, you'd think it'd be busier on days where it's not busy for whatever reason. And then the days it's not supposed to be busy, Metro pops. It's a 50-50 chance. You didn't get to. But yeah, I mean, Metro, it's very hit or miss. I was kind of surprised since there is a event over in Boston that's not busier, but then again, everyone can just go to Toronto if they want to do that. But yeah, it just kind of depends. I mean, there's not a whole lot anyone can do about it. Let's get another PDC in here. So PWM. Lincoln, Onset, Cam, Dog. The Howie, he's gonna get the running 2-1, right? Yeah, I mean that's how O'Hare is. But you know, there's a downside to that though too, right? Like sometimes having all that traffic isn't good. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Some of the planes you get at Heathrow, I know you know it.
Metro Tower, Delta 2989 is ready for taxi.
All right, Delta 2989. Gonna get runway 2-1 right. Delta 2989, runway 2-1 right. Taxi via Golf, Victor, Mike, cross runway 27 right at Golf.
Alright, runway 21 right via Golf Victor, Mike, and cross 27 right at Golf, Delta 2989.
But yeah, some of those pilots you don't get when you get those 30 departures. I mean, it's fun, don't get me wrong. Heathrow is also kind of one of those airports. I mean, you just know it's going to get busy. Same with Kennedy. Kennedy, LA, O'Hare, Atlanta to an extent are the 3 or 4 out probably. Big problem airports when it comes to sometimes the pilot quality. It just depends. I mean, that's where people know. That's where people have gone. And I've said this before. Like they go to, family vacation, right? They go fly. Generally, Denver also is kind of like that, but no one flies out Denver out of network for some reason. It seems like it's between those 5 airports. That's where everyone's really floating to in the U.S. If you've ever had to get a connection, if you had to go somewhere to the U.S., you're going to one of those airports. So, yeah, that's kind of like O'Hare. O'Hare was kind of not designed for that, but they've fixed it over. I mean, O'Hare was the biggest airport in the world for some time. The one I think is really fun when you get a lot of traffic on the network is Midway. It's going to be Kilo, Mike, Delta, Whiskey. It's really fun. It was at one time the busiest airport in the world. It's still not. It still is the busiest square mile in the world. And it's fun. It's a fun airport. Everything at O'Hare and Midway is all radar vector SIDS. There's no pilot nav SIDS. So hopefully they know where they're going. And they know how to turn the heading knob, because that's what all they're getting for a while. I mean, that's what I mean. Luckily, this isn't. This is all RNAV off the ground, so. But luckily, the thing about Heathrow though is you got different airports in the area too. You got isn't London City one, and Gatwick also another one. So you have a couple airports you can use to kind of help yourself out there when it comes to stuff like that, with any factors like that. Delta 2989 RNAV 2 winners, runway 21 right, clear for takeoff.
RNAV to winners 21 right, clear for takeoff, Delta 2989.
Is the issue for Heathrow with the 3rd runway, is that like a environmental issue, like, or is that just because there's a lot of pushback against? I don't know. I obviously don't keep up with a whole lot that's going on in the UK with airports. I don't ever fly to the UK, so it doesn't really, matter to me a whole lot,
Metro Tower, Delta 1123, Information Romeo, request taxi.
Delta 1123, Metro Tower, runway 21 right. Taxi via Juliet 7, Juliet, Papa, cross runway 27 right of Papa.
Alright, Juliet 7, Juliet Papa will cross 27 at Papa, Delta 1123.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of like O'Hare. And Midway, actually. Midway is they can't do a whole, they can't grow that airport at all. And it's kind of unfortunate, actually, because Midway does push a lot of planes for the small size they have. But it's basically in the neighborhood. The neighborhood was built around the airport, essentially, and there's nowhere to expand. O'Hare's kind of getting into that issue now, where it's just hard to expand. A lot of these airports, it's hard to really just expand unless it's in the middle of nowhere, because, you know, they already tear down houses practically to build a lot of these as it is. And I don't know. I don't know if there's a really good solution for it even. Ultimately, if the burn down, other than going even further, you know, away from the city, but then that reduces your draw to the airport, unless you're like Ryanair. I don't know. Delta 2989, contact Cleveland Center, 119.87.
1987 for the center. Have a good night, Delta 2989.
So. All right. Two right. Send the PVC over. Yeah. O'Hare's pretty similar like that. You have 4 towers now. Yeah, 4 towers, 2 grounds, 2 deliveries. Um, there's a metering position, which I think you have countless. I mean, you have 3 finals, 2 feeders. At least you can put, 3 or 4 departures. I mean, C90 has so many positions for O'Hare. Metro, there's, I don't know what do we have for Metro here. We have at least one. We have 1 clearance, 2 ramps. Delta has, the company has 4 ramp control frequencies. Ground, there's 4 grounds, 3 towers, at least 4 departure frequencies. So If you really wanted to staff up Metro, there's a way to staff it up. I don't think there's ever going to even be an event where you'll have that much concentration. Separation based on route, wake, speed, or is it fixed? So now in days. So before it was mostly it was time. You had small, heavy, small, medium, large, or I guess not. Just do regular, heavy, and super. It's kind of a better way to look at it. So that was time, right? So if it was full length, say you're launching Cessna behind or whatever. Say you're 737 behind a 747. That's a heavy. And lead, that's going to be 2 minutes full length. However, if there was an intersection departure in there, it would be 3 minutes. Just because it's a little hard to figure out, as a pilot, where where they rotate and where you're gonna have to rotate before, right? Supers was 3 minutes, and if it's a intersection, it was that extra minute on top of that, so it would have been 4. Now with the recat, it kind of changed a little bit. The recategorized the wake turbulence minimum, so now you can do miles instead. So, and it's flying miles, right? So let's say you have, I don't know, I'm not really good at recat yet. I haven't really done enough with recat to do good. You do save a lot of time using recat over a lot of departures, but it's just different for me to know. Also, for like regular separation, as long as you have 15 degrees of separation on the initial heading, let's say I have 2 Cessna 172s, right? And I give one guy, 180 heading, and I give another guy a 195 heading. That's legal. I can launch one dude, and since they're Cessnas, I can do 3,000 feet. Launch the second one. Now, unfortunately, though, that won't give TRACON the space they need. The departure controller, so I have to give a little bit more. But if it was VFR, that would be perfectly. If it was, I guess it wouldn't be that matter if it was VFR. But like, citations are probably the better example, right? Let's say I have 2 citations, 6,000 feet in airborne. That's all I need. Launch the second guy, give him 15 degrees of separation on the initial heading, and there you go. So it just kind of depends on the airport what you're doing. And then if it's an RNAV off the ground, if it's a pilot nav SID, it's 10 degrees of separation off the ground. But most of the SIDs at Metro that's kind of what that chart up on the upper, on the right hand side, it's kind of for. Just help me out, because I can never remember. Delta 1123 RNAV 2 Sturgey, runway 21 right, clear for takeoff.
On Surgery, clear for takeoff, 2-1 right, Delta 1123.
Oh, world flight's already been announced? Yeah. I accidentally controlled on world flight last time they did it. Where I was like, oh, it's 6 in the morning. And it was like 4 in the morning there. You know, because I'm different time zone, right? Maybe it was even 3 in the morning. I was like, oh, there's gonna be no one on. It'll be DNC's day. I can access the network. Prime up. Don't even look at the scope. I'm like, it's gonna be so easy. And I see deals from Mexico, stacks of planes from Mexico. And I was like, what is going on here? And so I spent an hour and a half trying to fix it, and I just couldn't. And I actually just got off. I was like, I can't fix this mess. I got on and started working planes. And that was a big mess. Big mistake there. Delta 1123, contact Cleveland Center, 119.87.
119.87 for Delta 1123. Have a good night.
Any tips from my S1 OTS to ZAU after I finish the last sweat box? That's going to be at Milwaukee, correct? Because back when I did my S1 OTS at ZAU, it was at Midway. So with that, I think that'll be kind of relevant information here to try and give some more better tips and tricks. Honestly, it's actually easier at Milwaukee now. That's where it's at. Yeah. So Milwaukee now, it's easy. It's a lot easier. Your LOAs, a whole lot less of them. So I'm trying to think what would be better for Milwaukee. It's been a minute since I've actually touched. I've worked the Traycon more than anything else lately. So know your LOAs, know your SOPs. That's the big two right there. Know when you can cross multiple aircraft or the same aircraft on multiple runways at the same time. Know, what a valid route is. Directional flight, squawk codes, make sure everyone's squawking free taxi. It's a whole lot easier now with CRC, I know. Back when I did it, it was on VRC, and it was just a little simple change. I think the little icon for the aircraft changed from like a star to something else. It was pretty hard to tell. However, with that said, it's kind of hard to know. I mean, I haven't done this in so long. I've been OTS in so long at Chicago. Man, it's gonna be almost. It's pretty much coming up in 3 years now. Since I did mine. I don't know. Just be calm. Talk clearly. Slow down a little bit if you need to. They're not gonna be after you. Just take your time. Make sure what you're doing is correct. It's a little bit slower. And if you make a mistake, fix it, and move on, and learn from it, regardless. Pretty much the biggest thing I have to say about it is if you make a mistake, move on, learn from it, fix it if you can, and hopefully, at the end of the day, it works itself to a pass. I definitely didn't have a perfect OTS by any metric. It was pretty horrible. Actually, I was pretty bad, I thought. And I still passed, so. What you think and what the instructor thinks are two different things, for sure. Because I don't know who does them anymore. I know Gavin now is the TA there, but I don't know, who's an instructor anymore. Other than, like, Kevin. I don't know who it is anymore. Pretty much all I have. Milwaukee's pretty. If you know how to run Milwaukee's not that bad. Do you know what flow Milwaukee's gonna be in at least? Or are they not even told you that yet? It depends on what the mistake is, I think, more so than. It depends on what it is. You put a plane nose to nose with another plane, well, maybe that might be a slight issue, right? But if it's like, oh, I, told a plane, if you tell a plane to cross 2 runways and you're not supposed to tell them, yeah, okay. Tell a plane to cross whatever it is, cross 2 runways at the same time you weren't allowed to. Correct, whatever it is, correction, fix it. Hold short, cross whatever, hold short. whatever. And that's just, answer. Just take your time, be slow. Make sure you, like I said, know the SOP, because they're going to ask you about it in the theory portion, which, from what I've seen, if I remember correctly, from when I was a mentor at Chicago, a lot more people fail in the theory than in the practical portion. Because, you don't know what you don't know. You only had only a few hours of practice on, the sweatbox. It's new. You're, stressed. That's a factor. So you just learn from what you know. Sometimes they won't tell you if you made a mistake. Until
Detroit Tower, good evening, Delta 1901 with information Romeo. Ready for push and start.
Delta 1901 Metro Tower, push your discretion, call right for taxi.
We'll call back for taxi, thanks.
So anyways. Yeah, you yeah, Midway is fun. Midway is a good place to learn. I mean, I passed my OTS on the first time, and I was not the best S1. I had I think I had 16 round sessions the first time when I did it. But I passed the first time, and I forgot to tell people planes to squawk something. I mean, it's just, the instructor is not out to fail you. They want you to pass as much as you do. It's just, shows your knowledge, you allow them to let you pass. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes, unfortunately, that's, not how it works. That's all I really have to say. It's just, like I said, take your time. Be smart. And if the instructor tries to help you out and tell you something, make sure you learn from it and don't just immediately throw it off to the side and ignore them. That's probably the worst thing you can do.
Tower, good evening. Skywest 4733, looking to pick up clearance to Bradley.
Guy wants 4733, Metro Tower clearance request number 1. Yeah, and, he said take your time.
Metro Tower, citation November 1, Alpha Papa, at the SBO taxi with Romeo.
November 1 Alpha Bravo, that's going to be runway 21, right? November 1 Alpha Papa Metro Tower, runway 21 right, taxi via Sierra 5, Sierra 6, Whiskey, cross runway 21 left at Sierra 6, hold short runway 27 right at Whiskey.
Alright, Sierra 5, Sierra 6, cross 21 left at Sierra 6, Whiskey, short 27 right. Number 1 Alpha Pop.
Yeah, I don't know what the swap box, I don't even know what the OTS is anymore. I used to know. Yeah, it was a long time ago. And be fair, the other thing I have to say is ask your questions before you get into your OTS, right? They're probably going to ask you, I don't call it an OTS name or whatever it is. It's essentially still an OTS, right? So historically, how they used to do it, I'm sure they still run it the same way, is you show up, they're like, here, it's going to be your OTS. Do you have any questions before we move on? If you have any questions, ask them then. They will not help you out afterwards, right? You're supposed to be on your own. You're supposed to learn and figure out how to find the information and how to utilize the information on your own. Because at the end of the day, you can always ask the instructor, for help, but they may not a lot. They may not give you an answer immediately, and you might be working approach someday and need to know an answer super quick, and you know how to find that information. That's all it's about, is finding information. It's all open note. Use your notes. There's a study guide that Joe made. Have that pulled up, or make your own. You probably should make your own and learn from that. But anyways. Top of the hour update here. We have 3 arrivals, 2 which are still inbound. They're still an hour and a half away. I don't know where they're at. But anyways, I don't know. Yep, again. Yep, that's probably the best thing you do, is to cheat sheets, make your own, and learn from them. $34. Halen, that's gonna be a.
And Detroit Tower, Delta 1901, ready to taxi.
Delta 1901, runway 21 right, taxi via Gulf, Victor, Mike, cross runway 27 right at Gulf.
Okay, 21 right via Golf,
27.
Victor Mike, cross 27 right at,
Gulf.
I'm sorry, on Mike.
Delta 1901, cross runway 27 right at Gulf.
Okay, 21 right via Golf, Victor Mike, cross 27 right at Golf.
There we go. Go. Oh, well, he didn't quite cross I want him to, that's fine. November 1 Alpha Papa, cross runway 27 right at Whiskey. Continue taxi via Whiskey, Papa 4, Papa.
Alright, 27 right at Whiskey, continue via, excuse me. Sorry, could you repeat the instructions?
November 1 Alpha Papa, cross runway 27 right at Whiskey. Continue taxi via Whiskey, Papa 4, Papa.
Alright, cross 27 right at Whiskey, Whiskey, Papa 4, Papa, number 1 Alpha Papa.
And Tower Sky was 4733, ready to push with Romeo.
Sky West, where are you located?
We're at Delta 8, I believe.
Am I not seeing them? Is there a reason why I'm not seeing them? Sky West, I'm not seeing you. Make sure you're not signed in observer mode.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Next target, Delta 389 Heavy on Uniform 9, ready to taxi, TT left.
Delta 389 Heavy, Metro Tower. Runway 2 to the left. Taxi via Uniform Yankee. Cross runway 27 right at Yankee.
Uniform Yankee, 27 ready Yankee, Delta 389 Heavy.
This guy was 4733, we're connected as observer, I think we should be good now.
Yeah, it was 4733. Yep, I see you now. Push onto Kilo approved.
Push on the Kilo approved, 4733.
I mean, if you're told by Adam, you should be fine. But... Yeah, no one's gonna care. Yeah. Yeah, multiple SIDs now coming from the same. Oh, if you're still here, average Dragon pilot. The other thing is sequencing.
And Delta 1901, we're crossing 27 right on Golf.
Roger. Make sure you sequence correctly. That's probably the next big thing I had to say. Ow. November 1 Alpha Papa. RNAV 2 winners. Runway 201 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 2 and right, clear for takeoff. RNAV winners. November 1 Alpha Papa.
And the time between okay. Yeah. Makes sense. That's more of an O'Hare thing anyway, sequencing this, but which I know I guess you can't even do to your S2 anyways, so it doesn't really matter. The sequencing's kind of hard though. I mean, just in general, because on the network, it's hard to know who's going to be ready to push when, and that just obviously adds to the issues. Right? Delta 1901, runway 21 right, line from wait.
1901, we're lining up and waiting at the 2.
Over 1 Alpha Papa, contact Cleveland Center, 119.87.
11987, number 1 Alpha Papa, good day.
Delta 1901, RNAV 2 winners, runway 21 right, clear for takeoff.
And 1901, clear for takeoff.
Delta 389 heavy, RNAV to forwards, runway 22 left, clear for takeoff.
Alright, forwards 22 left, clear for takeoff, Delta 389 heavy.
Delta 1901, contact Cleveland Center, 119er.87.
Going over to Cleveland Center, Delta 1901.
Well, actually, I like to correct you. There's technically 2 for Midway. You only ever use the 1.
This guy was 4733 ready taxi.
Sky West was given. Sky West 4733. Runway 22 left. Correction, taxi. Runway, correction. Runway 21 right. Taxi via Kilo Victor Mike. 21 right.
Alright, 21 right via Kilo Victor
so
Mike.
bad.
Sky was 4733.
I mean, I've given the Cicero 4. I remember when it was a Cicero 2. It's a Cicero 4 now? Really? When was it the Cicero 4? Midway 8 now. When did they revise this? Oh, June. Oh, rip DuPage. They finally took DuPage off of there. But they didn't take off the Midway 8 though. Well, I knew this is Midway 8. I knew it was the O'Hare 9. It's the O'Hare 9 now? I've controlled O'Hare since then. It was a 1901. If I haven't told already, contact center 119.87. Pretty sure I told him though, but whatever. Covering myself there. Yeah, I think I knew it was the O'Hare 9. Which I don't like it being the O'Hare 9. 389 heavy. Delta 389 heavy. Contact Cleveland Center 119.87.
Contact center 1987. We'll see you later. Delta 39 heavy.
I've definitely heard that voice before. Calvin 3 stays Fillmore. Calvin. Oh, I was ready to say. Yeah, I knew it was the O'Hare 8 then. But anyways. Yeah, that's wild. But anyways. Yep, have a good one there. Okay. We're gonna have the winner. Sky was 4733, RNAV 2 winners, runway 21 right, clear for takeoff.
RNAV winner, 21 right, clear for takeoff, Sky was 4733.
You on there, chicken hitman? Yeah, Sky's Detroit off 2 left. Oh, you must have been the person going west. Like Shanghai or something, isn't it? Where fast turn our things on tonight. Gonna be a long flight. I don't even know how long it is, I'm gonna be honest. 'Cause you got to go. How do you even? You're gonna go up over the. Yep. Alright. Alright. They're gonna fly like right over where I live. Anyways, yeah, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go all the way up to like. Yeah, I see. For 14 hours on the block, that's wild. Sky was 4733, contact Detroit approach 126.22.
2622, 4733.
Yeah, 101 Facebook finally. Did the new 777s out? Oh, that's right. I had that 777 now. I got the 757. Never flew it once, and I never touched it again. I forgot that it was. Like about 34 hours. Okay. Well, our next arrival, Antigua Metro. We're here in like 7 minutes. It's gonna be a Brickyard. Just entering the Tracon now. So there's that. So we have like 7 minutes, basically. Ding ding. No, I definitely sent him over to departure. I made sure to make it be very clear. Which 7.5? I don't know. The one that PMDG made, the first one like they made, I think. If they made more than one. I also haven't really flown the sim for a long time, like that. So I fly almost all GA now. I don't even know if I've installed. I bought it when it first came out, and I like never touched it. I think what happened was I went on a trip literally the next day. I got my C1 that day. Went on a trip the next day, and I don't think I just had any reason to pick it up after that. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I mean, there's not a whole lot I can do about it now. So. I have not been keeping up with the movements thing. ATM. Calvin stays. Calvin, that's a 2-2 or 2-1 right, Sid. Yes, it is. 6-2-25. One right, so another one going to Atlanta. Gonna go there.
And Metro Tower, good evening. Delta 1722 with information Sierra requesting IFR to Atlanta.
Delta 1722 Metro Tower. You should have received the PDC. Flotation. But he's the slightly faster flotation. It's pretty good actually. Well, you could, yeah, I was ready to say you could say it, but yeah, you're gonna. Someone's gonna complain. No, then you get a wallop for talking about random stuff on frequency. All right. Alright, the next plane's on his base turn now. Alright. Anyways.
Tower, good evening, Brickyard 6275, visual runway 22 right.
Brickyard 6275, Metro Tower, runway 22 right, clear to land.
22 right, quick land, Brickyard 6275.
Alright. We love our farming. I was ready to say self, yeah. The last time I staffed up a military field, I got Thomas showing up. Was that Luke or was that Holloman? Like, yeah. Anyways. Well, R is still our farming anyways with. Yeah, you're still our farming, not doing anything, just watching. Yeah, you do. Yeah. Ari is cheating. Alright. About 16 hours of HCF approach. Or as we called it, HCF radar. I hear a challenge. Brickyard 6275 vacate left when able to stay parking.
We're taking off for 3. I'm going to Bravo 10 for Brickyard 6275.
Bravo 10. Brickyard 6275, just confirm your gate one more time.
I just picked a random one. Bravo 10 for 6275.
Brickyard 6275, taxi parking via Alpha, Quebec, Juliet, Kilo.
Alpha, Quebec, Juliet, Kilo for Brickyard 6275.
I wonder who also is very serious about strips for people who are...
Tower Endeavor 5226, we're about 8 out, 2-1 left visual.
Endeavor 5226, Metro Tower, runway 201 left, clear line.
Clear line, 2-1 left, 5226.
The Orchard. They get those hours in, man. Oh, he's been visiting for a while. I think he only gets his like hours. I have to check again, but I feel like he's visited for a long since I was a home controller there. They get those hours. Oh no, he just started. Yeah, he's been visiting since before, for over a year. He has 3 hours December, 3 hours. Like he has his 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. But he's on an O'Hare ground and delivery solo and a tower solo. So. I've seen it one time from my house. It's pretty cool. I was like, oh. Yeah, like SkyWest. They just show up wherever they want to go. You have to ask them. Yeah, SkyWest does all 3. They have a 4th one actually. Yeah, they do 4. Yeah, SkyWest. Yeah, that's right. Oh, sure thing. We're in the. Are you ready? All right, we're in the standard south flow. Brickyard 6275 is taxiing to the gate. It's just gonna be taking Juliet Kilo there. Dever, I'm not talking to anyone at the gates. TDLs is up to date. And Dever, I'll ship him over to you once he vacates here. And that's about all I know. Questions? Well, I'm gonna get off here in like 13 minutes. So, yes, I am. I have to eat dinner still. Dever 5226. Contact Metro Ground point 8.
Oh, ground is on? Okay. Over ground by.
Yeah, they literally just opened. Alright, so we just lost ground. Yeah, that's what it is. Mini? Well, yeah, well, Minneapolis. Well, William Paul used to control all the time in like the mids. Yeah, and I don't know what he hasn't been on for a while, but yeah. I think he might have. I don't know. I wanted to visit Mini actually before I visited here, and they never got to my visit request. Oh. Well, I mean, that's not my home facility. Yeah. Yeah, I was ready to say Grand Forks, Fargo. You can control Sawyer. That's my home airport. You control Sawyer. That's no, but it's kind of sad actually. The nearest controlled airport for me is over 2 hours away. So.
Hey, thanks for your services, man. You have a good night.
Thanks for flying. Oh. Right. Let's go. Almost like it was like an event field. Yeah, it was Bradley to Portland. You know what's wild is I have more hours than a manual on Big Sky Approach now. And I just started visiting there like 2 days ago. Salt Lake. I needed to go there to harass a manual for leaving. If it was Ari, it would be they'd already be yelling at you. $15 more miles. Yeah, actually, you know what's sad when I have more planes on Big Sky than I have here. Well, they're not dead enough that they can't get me my training in. I've been on the wait list for years. Maybe I should start putting some training in here. But Aria hates it when I don't buy the handoffs immediately. Yeah, I don't know why. which is splat T the border. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should be. No, that's not. That's how you. D21 Metro Tower. I'm gonna be closing up here. Yeah, I have nothing. Oh, you'll take it. Okay. Never mind. Alright, well, we are closing up here. Alright, welcome to Metro Tower. We're on the standard south flow. It looks like there's like a little bit of a Calvin push moving on from the ground, but that's besides. Well, yeah, now it's a traffic jam, but whatever. The 2-7s are grounds. And I have no one in the air, no one on the ground. ATIS has been stolen by D21. And that's all I got. Any questions? Everyone's still on ground. Yep, you got ground delivery below, you got D21 above you. Of course, now they offer the ATIS after it was stolen. Ari refused to give it to me. Alright, it's your control, AG. Alright, while we're doing the monitoring. That's it for this stream. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, you all have a good one.